Tejpaul Bhatia, now the CEO with
Yes.
Axiom Space. Thanks for joining us again on Australia in Space TV. Welcome to Sydney for IAC 2025.
Thank you for having me. Nice to see you again.
And Tej, you were Chief Revenue Officer, I think, last time we spoke to you in Colorado Springs in April at the Space Symposium. So congratulations on the promotion. I'm assuming a lot more work is involved as CEO, but yeah, maybe as an update, and I believe your ODC, your orbital data center, was tested in space in August, so all successful. That's what we were speaking about in April.
Great. Well, we met last time at Space Symposium in Colorado.
Yeah.
And you're correct, I was Chief Revenue Officer at the time. I was promoted to CEO just soon after, end of April. I joined Axiom about 4.5 years ago as Chief Revenue Officer. I'm actually an investor in the company. I invested 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I was brought on to help build our business. And brought in the first $1 billion in revenue and proved that there is more market demand than there is supply. And I'm talking about access to space. We've sent 4 missions to space, 4 humans on each mission, 12 countries, many that had never been to space before, many that sent their first astronauts to the International Space Station. And what we showed is there's more people and more countries and more companies that want to go than there's capacity on the ISS, hence the need for commercial space stations. Now, Axiom's role in this whole strategy and future is with the ISS coming down. We're the only company through an exclusive contract with NASA that's able to connect our commercial station to the ISS. This makes sure we don't lose any value from the ISS, and we create a commercial platform that's open to the world and can grow into a global space economy. So now as CEO, my job has changed obviously to running the company and running the business, in addition to building the business, growing the customer base.
The revenue officer side stays the same, right?
Yeah, and it's more work but different.
Yeah.
And it's now I won't even say steering the ship, guiding the ship.
Yep.
And there might be tendencies to want to grab the steering wheel, but that's not my job anymore.
Well, and you've got a program of work there. I believe that a couple of nodes are going to be launched later in the year. There's the Axiom Spacesuit as well that's being tested. And Project Astronaut is being announced today here at IAC.
Yeah.
Maybe introduce us to Project Astronaut.
Sure, so these are all things I'm very proud of. Obviously our space station, the missions we've done, the spacesuit, orbital data center. It's been a very busy year.
Yes.
And on top of that, today we announced Project Astronaut. So what Axiom has developed over the last several years through our 4 missions is a capability and a expertise in what it takes to train astronauts successfully and send them to space and bring them back safely. So for example, with our AX1, 2, 3, 4 missions, not anybody can just go up to space. They have to train extensively with us, with NASA, with SpaceX, with ESA, with JAXA, and then all members of the ISS, 15 countries, have to unanimously vote to say these astronauts are ready to go to space. So through that expertise, we built up the ability to train astronaut corps.
Yep.
So with Project Astronaut, we're beginning that process, and we're very excited to do that.
I'm not aware of anything else like that in terms of, so this is an astronaut training program.
Correct.
And a commercial one at that, right?
Yes, that's right. And it's built off all the training we've done for our astronauts to date.
Yeah.
It's run through our astronaut office, by our chief astronaut.
Yes.
So the understanding that our astronaut office has gained by going to the ISS 4 times with us commercially, but all of our astronauts are former NASA astronauts. They've been up many, many times.
Well, I crossed paths with Koichi Wakata just recently also here, but 5 missions, so even the pedigree of astronauts that you've got just as a backup, as you say, I'm surprised it hasn't been done earlier, to be honest. It's one of those. How many are in the program or are coming through the pipeline? Yeah,
so today was the announcement of the kickoff.
Yes.
So we have, through our backlog of customers for missions and everything we've done from the first 4 missions, we expect this to grow into a significant program.
Yeah.
Today was the announcement of the kickoff.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit more on the data center,
Sure.
all going to program, to the program,
Yeah, so we see orbital data centers as the future, not just for data centers, but for space.
Yeah.
Data and communications is foundational to the development of a space economy and the future of life here on Earth and off planet as we go to the moon and we go to Mars and interstellar one day. And we started the, I'd say, journey with orbital data centers on our first mission through a partnership with Amazon. We actually sent a computer up that's still up there and running workloads. And every mission since, we've done other work with Amazon and other companies. So on AX2 and 3, we sent an Alexa that communicated with the computer that was up there. AX4, we sent an Aura ring that also communicated with the compute up on ISS. We've sent computers up with Red Hat. We've sent our own computers up. Now on the International Space Station, I wouldn't say that's a fully fledged data center, but it is running cloud computing commercially on the station. What we're launching this year is our first 2 nodes of our orbital data center network, but also each of our modules on our station is a data center. Compute power is absolutely critical for maintaining human life. Now, we could choose to fractionalize that and share that with other companies, but the key here is our orbital data center is what we call a heterogeneous network. So each of the nodes might be different. One might be a pure data network, one might be a lab, one might be run by robots, one might be designed to maintain human life, one might be 3D printing materials, but they're all tied together through the same data network, and they can also be federated for different countries, different companies.
Wow.
The opposite would be a homogeneous network, which is like a satellite constellation. So we have gone the route of a heterogeneous network, and we're kicking it off this year as well.
And is it imagine that hardware, we may have discussed this last time, but it's a fascinating area in terms of the hardware side of things and getting it into space and proving that it will work reliably in space as well. Yeah, is there much difference between what we have here on Earth? Or, what type of modification or changes there? Or are you seeing it is
the answer is both. It's very different and it's very the same. So for example, as an end user, when you log into the terminal to run your app on space, that's going to look and feel just like you would terrestrial.
The end user
should be the same.
Correct.
Now, if you go down that stack, some of the operations, some of the software, some of the orchestration that we've learned from terrestrial cloud computing, that's probably all going to be the same. Some elements of the hardware might actually be the same, and the operating systems and the metal that goes behind it. But where it gets fundamentally different is what it takes to get a vehicle to space. So when you actually keep going down the stack, where here on Earth, the building, the facility, the security, the line of sight, what might all matter, all those things would actually matter up there too. Power. Similar up there, power will be the limiting factor, but then at the lower end of the stack is also the vehicle itself, the avionics, the ability to send it up there. How do you set up the environment so a data center could actually work?
So the data center becomes the payload in that regards, right? And the bus sort of stays the same, you call it vehicle.
Yes.
Okay, and maybe what does 2026 look like for you? You said this year's a busy year, and it's the end of September already.
I feel like every year is going to be that way. You know, I think primary focus for us is launching our station. And attaching to the ISS, which I think you'll see in about 2 years. So next year is a very important year for us. Our modules, these structures are being developed in the north of Italy. They'll make their way over to Houston. The first one will arrive end of this year, early next year. And that's a key moment for us where we start outfitting and getting ready to launch. So that's going to be the big goal for us there. We also have our spacesuit and the development that's, critical path and on track for the Artemis missions. So we're very excited to keep developing that.
I got sort of briefly briefed on the spacesuit testing, the underwater testing. That sounds like a fascinating process.
It was very exciting. Koichi Wakata was the first to go down in the NASA pool, which was a huge moment for us. For us to be seeing our astronaut and our commercial spacesuit down in that NASA facility.
I'll try to get some B-roll and play that over the top, because even just the way that 2 astronauts are going into a microgravity environment underwater. Sounds like a fascinating process. We'll keep going. You said $1 billion. Hopefully the revenue's flowing in for Axiom by now. But you're definitely one to watch as these missions come to play. And you build the next International Space Station.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on Australia in Space TV. Maybe your first trip to Sydney, right, before we finish off, I understand.
Yes, my first time.
What have you thought of Sydney, and how are you finding IAC 2025?
I love it. It's a journey. I think a few of our missions...
You know how we feel when we come up to America?
I think some of our missions, it took less time for our astronauts to get to the ISS than it took me to get here.
customs,
Oh, yeah, exactly. But no, it's been wonderful. I think IAC being held in Sydney is a big deal for Australia. I think this IAC is record-breaking in terms of number of people who are here, and we're very happy to be here.
And naturally, there's a lot of astronauts here in terms of the Astronaut Congress as well. But look, enjoy the rest of IAC. It's great to catch up with you you
Yeah.
again. I think we've Colorado, now Sydney.
Yeah.
We'll find out where next. Hopefully even in Houston.
Yeah, I would love to have you in
Let's
Houston.
see how we go. But
Yeah.
thanks for joining
Thank
us
you
on
so
Australian
much.
Space TV, and enjoy
Yeah.
the rest of the show.
All right, thank you.